Yeah, I was going to say, let's encourage people to stay in the morning, because usually when there's a lot of people, nothing happens with the police, so they just wait till it's like down to 30 of us, then something happens. I guess we'll try to have some of our group out there around those times, and try as a plan to encourage more people to be out there during those times.
Since we are going to have a fair crowd that evening supporting us, I reserved a block of time with Craig from the Teachers Union, who's organizing teaching, to do something that we talked about actually last night, to give a teach-in on work groups, how to join one, where you can find us on the page, you know, what different work groups do we have, what's the difference between a work group and a temporary work group, how do you form one, where will you find the intergroup meeting, and, you know, just all that informational stuff. Info?
No, I was just twinkling Thursday.
Well, I was going to say, if anyone from Info would like to collaborate on that.
What day and what time is that?
Tomorrow, 8 p.m.
Okay, I'll just post it when I post my report to our page, and if someone can come, then I will.
Trying to get as many people's different opinions and thoughts as possible.
And is that here at SCCC?
That's at the protest.
Oh, at on site, okay.
To get that information out, not just to our people, but to a wider crowd of supporters that will be gathered. And I wanted to make, because this just came up, I just talked to Greg a little bit ago, if anyone from Process wanted to weigh in on that, I would also be grateful. Do you have?
I do. I have a question. Because you mentioned that GA discussion will start late Friday, early Saturday, and that's the first time hearing about that. Because as far as I knew, we were moving ahead with the usual GA Friday night at 7 o'clock, and then the new GA was to be after the rally at 2 o'clock.
Danica posted on Facebook last night that the GA starting tomorrow was going to be a calendar.
That was changed at GA last night. We decided to go ahead and have GA at Seattle Central because that's where there's stuff going to be going on there for that reason, because that's where things will be happening. So, and I believe she's changed that on the website today. So I guess my understanding was it was GA as usual at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, and then 2 o'clock GA on Saturday, as I thought what we agreed to in the proposal, which would be the deciding
All I
or...
know is that was the time slot that was offered.
Yeah, so I'll bet we're not coordinating well with the teach-in people who are not noticing that.
People to vacate that block and move it somewhere else.
Or we can have there's ways around it. We can have a short GA, we can have so let's coordinate these things with whoever.
I was going to say, that's the other thing is if we have 500 to 700 people show up, some of them may be doing teach-in stuff while others are doing GA.
Could be. But maybe we want them to have them in a GA. I mean, that was one reason for having it there, draw them into what we...
Everyone who wants to go to the GA, going to the GA, I'm just saying that having seen the 2,000 person LA GA, while it was well attended, there were other things going on. You kind of can't commit them.
Yeah.
So, anything else?
Is Craig actually organizing the teach-in, or somebody else doing that? Okay, I can talk to him.
If you want to remember.
I've got it. Thank you.
You've got it. Great. So anything else for raid preparation before we move on to possible new sites?
No.
Okay. I think 23rd and Alder House may partly fall under this discussion since it is a relatively new site that we are occupying. Does anyone else, before we talk about that, have ideas for new sites? Has their group been looking, scouting? Have thoughts?
I'm not speaking on behalf of the informational group on this. Me personally, the Martin Luther King Memorial on Martin Luther King and what's it exactly? Between, it's across the street from the Seattle Tennis Center. My family personally contributed to that park, and so technically it's my park. What we did is we raised the money and we told the city of Seattle to maintain it for us. So one temporary solution would be for people to camp there. because I can get it from because it's my park. But it's not, it would not be a permanent solution. It's a lovely memorial, and I would personally be offended, based on some of the things we see here, if we had a bunch of drunk and drug-addled people at the Martin Luther King Memorial. This is the only Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King county in the country, and so if something where we stay there one night, maybe have a General Assembly there because it's a beautiful amphitheater, but I know I can get a permit from my own park.
What's the name of that park?
So you think?
Martin Luther King Memorial Park?
Okay.
We do have a map here of Freeway Park.
Okay.
That's one site that's been under heavy discussion.
I don't speak for any work group when I say this, but a return to Westlake Park, if we could do it, at least maybe not have tents at first, but keep our bodies there in the daytime. And maybe people, night owls will stay there at night and stay awake, day owls will stay there and stay awake during the day until we gather enough people to where maybe we can put down tents and hold the space off.
Sorry, so I need to jump in too. I guess can't believe I haven't thought to bring this up yet. So I've been talking to the permit holder at City Hall and basically telling him the mayor invited us to camp there, and there's an option to renew the permit next week, or pretty much maybe tomorrow. Without camping from what previously was 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. I'd like it to be changed just to 8 to 8, make it 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And I think that's one of the best options for people who just don't have a place to stay. And one of the nice things about getting everybody up and out, every day by 7 or 8 is they all go up to Westlake. Get them out, doing things instead of sitting in their tents.
Can I hold that for you?
Reading.
I would have to say that if we were to by City Hall, and I'm not saying it's the worst solution ever by far, we must find a better solution for our gear, because when I was asked to remove tents from City Hall, most of them came back in an unusual condition. Mildew, the fabric badly compromised, leaking to the point where they were not usable, tent poles broken. We would have to have a better way to deal with that up and down, some sort of classes, maybe get the WTA involved, teaching backpacking skills. We just don't have folks that are ready to do that right now.
Because of what condition, particularly at City Hall?
The need to pack up your tent
Every
morning.
day.
And
Put
the
them all in
tents,
one big pile.
Right.
the tents were getting put
Got
in one big pile, but when it's wet, you can't do that to your gear. So there has to be a plan for what do we do in that circumstance. And right now, City Hall is not interested in us bringing wet tents inside to dry them.
I was gonna touch on this. I want to just say at this point, and again, I'm not speaking on the informational group. In this case, I can speak for morale. Mina and I in particular are night owls, so we would be there at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I think it would be a terrible idea to attempt to camp there again. It was very stressful for people in terms of police harassment, having to stay up, having to constantly stay up. There's not enough coffee in the world that can handle the stress of the police harassment we're facing. We have people that, because they're close to Westlake, it's more convenient for them to protest at Westlake, and so they're in the process of having a tent there, and there's a permit, and but they're having a hard time getting volunteers because unless you work downtown or you live downtown, it is very expensive to park, and it's not convenient for people who work every day to be down there on a routine basis. So I just want to state my strong objection to trying to camp there. It was just completely, we had to start the morale work team because we just didn't see any other way to help people through that situation.
Can I put myself on stack again?
Go ahead.
From a supply viewpoint, Westlake has no water. The city will not let us put 9 porta pots in there. It is a logistical nightmare. All of the parking around there is 3-minute or a half hour, and on 2 sides of the plaza there is 0 parking. it's really hard to get people the things that they need, and there's absolutely no storage available. I would be against it. I have not asked Sonia, but I'd be happy to call her. I'm pretty sure she'd be against it. I am not for this plan. I would rather see mildewy tents at City Hall. Ed?
Are there any other conversations and possible sites that people have talked about that we are not talking about here? There's a vacant lot up on 12th that some people are reconning. That's one other. And what is that?
This is an undisclosed location, but it's a really nice map of it. You'll see that it is surrounded on 3 sides by concrete barriers, has an extra fenced lot on one side, has a shed building that has 2 open bays and 2 bays with roll doors that close, and happens to be overlooked by one of the richest men in the world, so we can all go, hi.
Okay. So I think, I know Westlake may not be that probable, but I was using it as a conduit of an idea that as stressful as it is, I think it's an important point for this movement that we are an occupation. We are sacrificing and going against the grain, and that is very important for us to have visibility and be showing to go, like, it's important for us to have visibility so people see us, to see us struggling so they're motivated and inspired, and to see us, well, basically those two. So I think wherever we go, that we have to take that into account. There's a line on one end, there's visibility. On the other end, there's the bottom 2 bars on Maslow's pyramid, which is safety and a place to stay, like the livable physical things that you have to live. And I think it is a hard balance, but it's something we have to work with. Going further and further from the center of the city makes a better place to stay, but it also lowers, I think, lowers our impact on society. I know people think that we're just waiting out the winter and probably go like dormant in the winter. But I just wanted to bring up the point, just to put in people's mind that visibility is also an important thing. That's all I wanted to say.
Again, we have a group of people that have a permit and they are down there at Westlake every day. Anyone that wants to volunteer, go to the Noontime GA. They could use all the help in the world. I personally would like to reiterate at this time that we started this at Federal Building. And the Federal Building was not a good location, so we moved to Westlake. Westlake was a terrible location for anyone that slept overnight, so we moved up to SECC. And I know Alyssa and I think we've had this conversation. We should be prepared to move the camp every 3 to 4 weeks anyway. So I don't want to get, personally, I just want to say, I don't want to get attached to Seattle Central. I don't want to get attached to Westlake because they are places. We just need to make sure that wherever we have people that are camping, the members of our street team to be safe, warm, and dry. And they need to be able to sleep through the night. And I don't think it's fair to ask anyone to be in a situation where they can't do that. But we have other locations, and about this location, is this going to be accessible by bus?
Yes.
It's
Okay.
also about that map, so each one of those grid squares is a 10 by 10 foot area.
From,
The Station Hill,
okay.
so it is not far away from the city center or from serious visibility.
So I just want to throw it out there too that at City Hall we're looking to, so at City Hall we're talking about getting more people in sort of a shared schedule or just sharing that occupies